My name is David Jenkins. I'm known as MC Davy Jay, and I'm from Jamaica, Queens. I was born in Harlem. My family moved to Brooklyn Red Hook Projects when I was 1 year old. So from 1 year old to 11 years old, we moved to Jamaica, Queens, into Rochdale Village. I had two first loves. One of my first loves was comic books. My second first love was baseball. I love baseball. So, I mean, we stayed outside. Even in the snow, we shovel off the basketball courts, play basketball. I always loved music. I was one of those kids that take a brush and stand in the mirror and act like Michael Jackson, because the Jackson 5 was a big deal when I was a kid. And I just loved Michael Jackson, man. He was like that guy, man. I was like, wow, man. I just loved music. My mom, they and my aunts, they would have like house parties sometimes, and they'd be playing records and stuff like that. Al Green and the OJs and things like that, you know. So I grew up loving music in my household, and but that moved to another level when I was about 13, 14 years old. I started spending the night over my cousin's house. So I would go over there, and they were playing music, and my love for music grew even more and more. And I'm referring to Phase 3 DJs. Some of the first MCs that I knew about was, I knew about the Funky 4+1 in the Bronx. And I remember hearing a Grandmaster Flash Furious 5 tape back in the 70s. And I remember hearing Melly Mel rap. And I was like, wow, this guy's really good. And I, when I was 14, I started going to high school. I went to Brooklyn Tech High School. And I met a brother named Curtis Sherrod. At that time, he went by the name of Mexi Ray. And Mexi Ray, he was very influential. You know, he helped inspire me. Well, I had received a charge from my cousins who had started Phase 3, and they told me, you better go learn how to talk on the mic. And it was just so, it was really spiritual, because in my home group in school, I met another MC, which was Curtis Sherrod, and he was affiliated with DJ Breakout and Baron in the Bronx. So he would play tapes for me from, you know, I would hear different tapes. And so we would sit in homeroom class every day and write rhymes. So that's when I was really much inspired, because I knew I had to learn how to write rhymes so that I can be a part of Phase 3. So that was kind of how it started. So like the early MCs I knew, like I said, was Flash and Funky 4, and those are the only really ones I really knew back then. And Queens, in my opinion, we really didn't have many MCs. I later on found out about I later on met the Cypher of Sound MCs. Even though I wanted to do it, I was nervous to get on the mic for the first time. And I was inspired by just being at the parties, and there was girls that I liked, and I wanted to make sure that I could like impress them. You know, here I am, I'm like 14, 15. I think I was 15 by that time, and I wanted to influence them. And so I just dug up my courage and started rapping on the mic. Actually, the first time I did that was at IS-8, and we had a party at IS-8. And I remember being nervous, and I had some sunglasses, and I put the sunglasses on so that I really didn't see everyone, and, you know. And then I took a chair, and I stood on the chair so that everybody could see me. And that was like the first time that I performed. And actually, we didn't call it rap then, we called it rhyming. And so I would write my rhymes, and then I'd get on the mic, and then I started getting attention. And I was like, wow, this is great, you know. And then when I realized, you know, my cousin and they were telling me like, "Hey, Dave, you're doing great," and I think like during the week or something, I saw like little kids because back then we used to DJ in the park a lot, and I see little kids say, "Hey, that's Davy Jay," and I was like, "Wow, this is," it started becoming like, "Wow, this is it's kind of interesting. People know my name. I didn't even know them," and that continued on and on, and so that's when I knew this was something good. And back then, the little kids used to come and knock on my cousin's door, and they'd come and say, "Y'all gonna DJ? Y'all gonna DJ?" It would be like a sunny day in the summer, and they say, "Y'all gonna bring out your sets?" And I remember that as a kid, and so I knew that I was, was a part of something special. My parents were very strict. My father was very strict. And schoolwork was a priority back then, and well, it was a priority in my house, and so I had to get that done. And they didn't really mind me getting involved in music. I think they were proud, but they never really told me that. But years later, when we would do big functions, as we grew as a group, and we would DJ like weddings and all kind of events where the place would be packed with people. And I remember seeing my parents like very proud of me to see what we could do at that point years later. I remember DJ Junebug was talking about our style of music, and our style of music was like when we started, it was disco music. When I started rapping, rap was not, rhyming rap was really not accepted too much in the community. Most people loved to hear disco music, and a lot of parties, they wanted to hear disco music. And when we started Climax in the evening, we transitioned from disco music to hip hop. And I was, like I said, I was inspired by others. And then I used to go and buy beat records from Underground Records in Port Authority, and I'd bring those underground records back to Queens, and I say, "Hey, look, man, I got Mardi Gras, I got 7 Minutes of Funk, Mr. Magic," and we would play them as the night got, as the night progressed and it was crowded and people showed up and it would be jam packed. We'd cut off the music and I'd sing a song and I'd get everyone's attention. And then DJ Junebug or DJ Kenny would throw the record on, and everybody would go crazy. "Oh, wow, wow, wow!" And I just start rhyming, and back then we did a lot of crowd participation. I say, "Come on," they say, "Let's go to work," and that was the culture of DJing back then and MCing back then, and. But my own style and Phase 3 style was cutting off the music, getting people to clap their hands, throwing the music on, rhyming. We'd go to another jam, and I'd have something there. I had like routines I would write. Oh, no, you know what? Let me talk about the Holiday Inn. Because the Holiday Inn featured Sound Experience, Infinity Machine, and Phase 3. And I think King Charles was on the flyer. There was other rappers called like Woody Wood and Disco Kid. I think Disco Kid was at that time like one of the like popular rappers in Queens, and that night was influential to me because I had already broke the ice at IS8 of getting on the mic, and at that time. DJ Nicky B, who was one of the original Phase 3 DJs, he was talking on the mic, but then he decided that he wanted to give me a chance. And so it was like as he decreased, I increased. And I got on the mic and I went off. I took over. And so ever since then, it's influential because I really started gaining my confidence that like this is what I need to, the microphone was, MCing was something I really loved. That's when I realized it. being able to tell the story of how it was back then is a privilege for me because, you know, we were the early MC. I'm a pioneer. I'm a pioneer. I'm one of the few brothers in South Jamaica that was rocking back then, and since then, like maybe as the '80s took off, I was shocked to see, like when Run DMC formed, I was shocked. And I saw that, whoa. And then people were asking me, are you going to make a record? Are you going to make a record? Are you going to make a record? And I saw the Sugar Hill Gang make a record. And then I was like, wow. When they took Good Times and they made a record off of Good Times. And I saw that this thing was exploding. And there was a record called by Spoonie G. That was pretty popular as well. And so I saw that where rap music was not accepted, it was becoming accepted because it was starting to go mainstream. And I remember some of these records being played on the radio. They weren't played on the radio a lot, but every now and then they would play them. So I knew things were changing. What I like about emceeing and music is that it's English. Actually, in school I was English honors, and I just love writing, and I've always liked poetry and writing and expression. And this is a great way to express yourself through writing, through rhyming, what's going on with you, what's going on in your neighborhood, things like that. And so I encourage the young people to just keep writing, to keep, if you could sing, sing. If you can write, if you can MC, MC. If you like DJing, go for it, you know, because like when we were doing it, we didn't know that the industry would go like this. We were just really much doing it for fun. But I loved talking on the mic so much that I did it for free. And I loved it. And it's like anything you love, like doing, is like you have passion for it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Never stop.